You have to keep your presence of mind. You have to keep your ability to make good decisions to move the business forward. And if you stretch yourself and you just work, you are going to pay the dumb tax. And that's where we take action and we do things and we end up regretting them later on, or we make more mistakes that cause problems down the road. You work hard in your business. On the Profit by Design podcast, we ask the big question. What has your business done for you lately? Hi, I'm Dr. Sabrina Starling. I'm the business psychologist, the author of the 4-Week Vacation and the How to Hire the Best series, as well as the founder of Tap the Potential, where we coach entrepreneurs like you to design sustainably profitable businesses that give you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. Because after all, we believe work supports life, not the other way around. Weekly on the Profit by Design podcast, we bring you tips, tools, and strategies from our own experiences and from the experiences of our guests who are entrepreneurial thought leaders and real life entrepreneurs, all to support you in making intentionally profitable and sustainable business decisions to live the lifestyle you desire. Hi, has this ever happened to you where you've been in the position where you're already stretched really thin, you've got a lot on your plate, you're trying to grow the company, you're filling multiple roles, and your best team member has left? It is the worst feeling ever. This is the person that you've been counting on. They had your back. They were your key person who was taking you through the initiatives and helping you implement things. And now they're gone. And it can feel like, what are you going to do? How are you going to make it through? And when you step back and think realistically about hiring again, it feels totally overwhelming because you know that it's going to take months before someone could be on board and fully up to speed with you. Today, I want to talk with you about strategies to deal with a situation like this, because this happens time and again. And I also want to let you know that we are giving away a copy of my book, The 4-Week Vacation. All you need to do to get your own copy of the 4-Week Vacation is to take our Better Business, Better Life assessment. Give us 20 minutes to take that assessment, and we will give you the key areas for you to focus on so that you grow your business, you take your life back, you become more profitable, and you know exactly where to focus in your business to make all of that happen. The key areas. Take the assessment at tapthepotential.com/assessment. And when you take the assessment, we will send you a signed copy of the 4-Week Vacation, the entrepreneur's ultimate guide to taking their life back from their business. And speaking of taking your life back, let's talk about this situation where you've lost a key team member and you were really counting on them. Maybe they've been in your business for years and they know all the ins and outs. They know things you don't know. And how do you deal with that situation? How do you recover quickly from it and get back on track? So one of the things that I think is really important to be aware of from the get-go in a situation like this is sometimes these situations that feel really awful in the moment as we go through them end up being the best things for our businesses because we end up making our businesses stronger. And I know right now, if you're in this situation, that doesn't bring you any comfort because you know you have a long ways to go to get back to things being more stable for you. But I want to assure you that usually in these situations, when you have been up-leveling your business, especially when you've been working on your own leadership and creating higher expectations of others and holding them accountable to those higher expectations, it's really normal for team members who have been with you for a while to leave because they're just not the right fit for where the business is headed. And this is like creative destruction. You know, when you have a fire and the fire comes through and it wipes everything out in a forest, well, it allows the undergrowth, the new growth to happen. And sometimes that's what's needed in our businesses. Sometimes we lose team members that We personally would have never fired them, but we also have a sense that they're just not right for where we need to head next. So maybe that's the situation you're in. But regardless, it doesn't feel good in the moment. Usually, we business owners are already strained and we're feeling role strain when this happens because we're already feeling multiple roles in the business. And then we lose someone key on our team and it just feels like, oh my gosh, now I have to step in and do all these extra things. So the very first thing that you need to do is breathe. Seriously, deep breaths, 2 or 3 deep breaths. Anytime throughout the day you find yourself feeling keyed up or anxious or rushing through your to-do list, really stop and do that reset, pause, and take 2 or 3 deep breaths where you breathe in and out from your belly and go for a walk around the building, go step outside, get some fresh air. And overall, for the long term, you want to make sure you're doing your veggies first. And I talk about veggies first in the 4-week vacation. This is our self-care as entrepreneurs. We have to put our oxygen masks on first before we try to help everyone else. And when we're feeling role strain, where we're stretched and extended in multiple roles in the business, and maybe we have role strain outside of the business in our personal lives, maybe we're taking care of sick family members, maybe our kids are sick, maybe we're having to do extra things, maybe we're volunteering somewhere and we're helping someone else because they have some stress on their plate. So we may be overextended in more areas than just the business. This is a time where it's really important to keep your self-care up. And I want you to know it's counterintuitive because your inclination is, I just want to get in there and I want to get things done and I want to knock things out. And you're going to be tempted to work on the weekends and late at night. Don't do it. If you do it one day, fine, but don't do it the next. Don't do it every day of the weekend. If you need to do a few hours on one day of the weekend, just so you feel like you're getting caught up, that's fine. But make sure you are taking breaks. Take at least a day and a half off on the weekend. If you're working late, don't do it every night. Just do it 1 or 2 nights a week at the very most, and then give yourself some grace and come in a little later the next morning, right? Because you have to keep your presence of mind. You have to keep your ability to make good decisions to move the business forward. And if you stretch yourself and you just work, you are going to pay the dumb tax. And that's where we take action and we do things and we end up regretting them later on, or we make more mistakes that cause problems down the road. So keep your self-care in place. That means healthy eating. Make sure you continue to work out. Even though it's tempting to skip going to the gym or going for a walk, you need to do it. And then ask yourself, what can you put off? What initiatives are you trying to accomplish and now everything is derailed? So what can you say, I'm going to do this and not yet to? So it's that not yet. That's the key to this. You're not procrastinating. You're not going to make something take years that could have been done in a few months. You're just saying, hey, turns out now is not the time to do this. I'm going to stop this for now and deal with filling this role and getting some help in here. And then I'm going to come back to this in 2 months or 3 months after things are more settled. So what can you say not yet to? And then think about, what can you delegate? And our natural tendency is to look in the business. The very first place to look is in your personal life. Where can you get help with your personal life? Can you hire someone to come and do some yard work for you? Can you get somebody to come and do housekeeping? Can you get someone to do your grocery shopping or your meal preparation in your household? These things are not luxuries. They are preserving our mental well-being, and they give you the space for that much needed downtime as you go through this crisis. So in your personal life, where can you delegate? Where can you get some help? And in the business, look at the role that the person that you're trying to fill now. You've got this hole, and this person was doing all kinds of things in the business. They were a key person, and it usually has become a very big role, especially if it's somebody that's been with you for a long time. So this is really a good opportunity to look at breaking up the role and being able to hire more effectively. In the How to Hire the Best course, one of the key pieces to succeeding in hiring A players and having them work out well in your business is to hire them into clearly defined roles. Not a role where someone's going to do a little bit of social media, a little bit of bookkeeping, a little bit of answering the phone. That's kind of all over the place. you won't be able to find the right person. You won't be able to find the person who has the personality strengths to do all of those things really well. Instead, break up that role and look at what if you have someone in this role and they can only get one thing done for you. What is the one thing that is going to have the greatest impact on the sweet spot and the profitability of the business? What is that result that you're after? And then you want to hire a person who has the strengths to deliver that result exceptionally well day in and day out. And so when you break up the role in that way, and so maybe you have a little bit of bookkeeping, maybe you have a little bit of other admin, maybe there's some sales, you might be looking at a virtual assistant. You may be looking at a part-time salesperson instead of hiring a full-time person with benefits that you may have had previously in the role. So it actually ends up doing two things. Saves you money on your payroll because you don't have to hire one full-time person and you don't have to pay those benefits for that full-time person. And it may also be that when you're bringing in people to do these specific tasks in the business, they have strengths in that area and they're going to be much more effective and efficient in doing those tasks. So it may not take as much time in the business as you've been thinking that it would take. So there's multiple ways that can actually be a boost to the profitability of the company. So use this as an opportunity to really step back and redefine the role using what we teach in the How to Hire the Best course at Tap the Potential. And in my books in the How to Hire the Best series, we teach you to identify a clearly defined result. We teach you to look for the strengths needed to deliver that result exceptionally well and to write a job ad that really conveys the culture of your company and the person that you're looking for. So in your job ad, you start speaking to that person. And I walk you through all of this step by step in the How to Hire the Best course. And you can see that and register at tapthepotential.com/course. And the beauty in doing this is that when you think about having an A player in that role and they've been with you for a year, you're thinking about what results are they delivering for you. And that's the person that you're going to hire is the person who's able to deliver those results. Well, it also allows you to step back and create an onboarding plan for them. So in the How to Hire the Best course, I teach you how to lay out your expectations for this team member. So you're going to think about, well, when they're an A player and they're in this clearly defined role and they're delivering results that I'm looking for, what are those results at the end of year one? What are they capable of doing at that point? And then so that's the end in mind that we're starting with. And then we're able to work backward and say, okay, if they're going to do that at the end of year one, what are they going to be doing at 9 months in, 6 months in, 3 months in, 30 days, week one, day one, right? All the way down to day one. So you're defining your expectations for them. And this allows you to do multiple things. It allows you to create opportunities for advancement and it creates criteria for advancement. So you're able to, when you interview a good candidate, you're able to show them, here's the criteria that we use for advancement. This is what's going to be expected of you. And then when you onboard them, you now have your training plan laid out because this tells you exactly what you're going to train them to be able to do at these different phases of their onboarding. And the beautiful thing about this is from where you sit right now, and you're just starting from ground zero, having to go out and find and hire that person, it can feel like it's going to take months to get them up to speed. Well, when you hire an A player and you lay out their expectations and their criteria for advancement, and then you give them the tools and the resources so that they are trained, don't be surprised if they beat those criteria for advancement and they hit those milestones sooner than you expected. And that's the beauty of knowing how to hire A players, but it's also the beauty of laying out those expectations. So from where you're sitting right now, it may feel like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so hard and so overwhelming. And I just want to remind you, small steps forward, taken in a consistent direction, lead to big change over time. This does not have to be something that is a setback for 9 months in your business. It may be a setback for a month, but actually maybe that springboard that moves you forward. Time and again, as we've taken business owners through these types of crises at Tap the Potential, they come back and they say, we are so much better for how we've strengthened the business because we went through this. And the other outcome, especially when you break up the role into smaller parts, is you have more opportunities to create redundancy in the business so no one team member becomes essential in the business. And if you get into that situation where you're the essential person or you have another key team member who's the essential person, that's exactly why you need the Tap the Potential solution that I teach in my book, The 4-Week Vacation, because you want the business to be able to function regardless of any one individual in the business. And we build these house of cards, this false sense of security in our businesses when we have one or two team members who've been with us forever and they know everything. We get this false sense that, we can count on them, we can be away and everything will be okay. And actually, something's going to happen. They may leave you or they may have some other circumstances in their life where they can no longer work for you. And you want to have that backup in place. So the other opportunity that will come out of this situation is looking at how can we build more redundancy into our roles so that we are not dependent on any one team member in the business. So I hope that what I'm sharing with you today has given you some hope. It's given you a place to start if you found yourself in this situation. And I want to encourage you that anytime we are rocked to our foundation as entrepreneurs, it really is our opportunity to step back and say, where was I vulnerable? Where was the business vulnerable? And what systems and strategies can I put in place to reduce that vulnerability so that we are stronger in the future? The Obstacle is the Way, Ryan Holiday's book. I love that book and I highly recommend it for any entrepreneur who's going through a difficult time. There were times that I had that book by my bedside and I would read a passage every night just to remind me to just keep taking those positive steps forward, because they do add up and they do lead to positive change over time. So thank you for being here with me today. And be sure that you subscribe to the podcast on whatever podcast platform you enjoy listening to podcasts on. And as we go out, don't forget, get your own copy of the 4-Week Vacation. Give us 20 minutes of your time. Take the Better Business, Better Life assessment, and you will get a clear action step. Like, here's what you need to do next to make your business stronger, make it more profitable, and create more time for yourself for what matters most in your life. Head on over to tapthepotential.com/assessment. Thank you for spending time with me today. Join me in our Tap the Potential Mighty Networks community at tapthepotential.com/group. Share your aha moments from today's episode, ask me questions, and join in on the fun with your fellow entrepreneurs on the journey to designing sustainably profitable businesses that give you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. Isn't it time you take your life back? And finally, share today's episode with a friend if you know a friend who would enjoy it. This is real life business. Keep your chin up, keep moving forward. You got this.